Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Neon and welcome back to another benchmarking video. And in today's video, we'll be seeing how well the GTX 970 and the i7 6700K run repo at 1080p. Before we get started, I just want to say that if you find this video useful or entertaining, subscribing to the channel is always appreciated. Alright, so this is an older CyberPower from around sometime in 2017, 2018. However, some of the parts are not original, like the graphics card and the RAM. Inside, as you can see, we have what a lot of people would consider a legendary graphics card, which in this case is the GTX 970. This model specifically is the MSI 100 million edition, which is very slightly overclocked. This graphics card no longer receives driver support, but even nowadays it's still fairly capable of playing games, even after almost, 12 years now? Anyways, moving on from that, the CPU under this Hyper 212 Evo is the i7 6700K. This is also being paired with two 8GB sticks of 3200 MHz RAM. Also, as a lot of you may know, the CPU can be overclocked, but for the purposes of this video, it will be running at its stock speed. Other than that, the full specs aren't in the description, so let's go ahead and get right into the benchmarks. Getting started at the low settings at 1080p, we're getting a very respectable 200 plus FPS the majority of the time. The GTX 970 is typically at 100% utilization, but that's mostly because we have the FPS uncapped, so it's trying its hardest. The i7 6700K is mostly taking it easy because of how low the utilization is, and for the most part, that's a good thing. The reason being is because you could definitely have stuff open in the background without the PC slowing down. Another thing that I was looking at is the RAM usage, which is remarkably low even for a game like this. It is slowly climbing, but the game is only using around 5GB of RAM, which is great for people that have low RAM, and especially now due to the outrageous prices nowadays. Moving on to the medium settings, we see very similar performance, although we are getting an average of around 10 FPS less. This is not noticeable at all, especially when you're just playing normally though. We do occasionally see FPS dips, but that's most likely being caused by a creature spawning or the map loading in. Once again, the i7 isn't doing very much, and it is keeping a moderate temperature of around 68 degrees Celsius. Other than that, the RAM usage is fairly low, like I said last time, and the VRAM usage of the 970 is also fairly low. One thing I do want to note is that the GTX 970 is pulling over 150 plus watts consistently, and I'm saying this because this might be important for those with lower end power supplies. Now onto the high settings, we are seeing little to no performance difference once again, and like last time, we're getting roughly around 10 to 15 FPS less on average, but unless you have like a 240Hz monitor, you really won't notice that much. The only time that the game even goes under 200 FPS is when a creature is spawning in, the map is loading in, or there are lasers or explosions on the screen. So once again, the GTX 970 is typically at 100% utilization, the i7 6700K is sitting at around 30 to 60% utilization, and the RAM usage is sitting comfortably at around 5GB out of 16. And now finally moving on to the highest settings, once again we see basically no difference in performance at all. Although statistically speaking, we are now sitting at an average frame rate of 215 FPS compared to the low settings, which was 247 FPS. You may not really even notice this at all, but for the most part this is still more than playable. Anyways, the i7 is taking it easy, sitting roughly at around 30 to 50% utilization, and the RAM is sitting close to 5GB once again. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it useful. Like I said in the beginning of the video, subscribing is always appreciated. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. I will try to reply to everything. Anyways, like and subscribe for more, and I will see you guys next time. So yeah, peace out.